Well, from the pages of my website, MikeHuckabee.com, where you can sign up for my free newsletter, comes some stories that show what liberals maybe won't admit can hurt you. A 2020 election update. For those of you who have been saying, I wish America could be run more like Massachusetts, but maybe not by Elizabeth Warren. Hey, your prayers have been answered, because this week, former Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick has jumped into the Democratic race. Patrick said, I admire and respect the candidates in the Democratic field that bring a richness of ideas and experience and a depth of character that makes me proud to be a Democrat. So I wonder, if that's the case, why do the Democrats need another primary candidate? Well, you've seen the current slate. It's more like an episode of Survivor without the tiki torches, right? Meanwhile, over on the GOP side of the race, former South Carolina Governor Mark Sanford announced that he is suspending his primary challenge to President Trump. I think I speak for millions of Americans when I say, Mark Sanford was running for president? Now, I would think that Saturday Night Live must be as tired of taking lame potshots at the president as viewers are of watching them. On a recent episode of Saturday Night Live, they turned their fire on his supporters, depicting them as stupid, brainwashed racists. This is just another example of whistling past the graveyard. An analysis of attendees at Trump's recent rally in Mississippi reveals some eye-opening stats. Out of 16,432 voters identified there, 27% were Democrats and 20% were black. So how is this possible? Threats, patronage, even Jedi mind tricks? I'm sure Democrat leaders in the media already know. After years of stagnation and struggle, people are enjoying good jobs and rising wages. It may also be the fact that the president was refusing to listen to the pompous foreign policy experts who want to send our young men and women to the military to stand between warring factions in every corner of the world. Or maybe Americans have just looked at their 401ks and noticed that stock markets have been setting new records for several weeks. Yep, peace, prosperity, and freedom will do it every time. Now, you know, I have to wonder if Alec Baldwin is ever grateful for all the times that his phone has rung to play the president on Saturday Night Live. Probably not. In the end, I guess all I can say is, live from the USA, it's #walkaway, #Blexit, and American free enterprise. Now, we have some questions that come straight from you, the audience. This is from Concerned American Mom. She writes, parents in Ontario, Canada have filed a lawsuit against the principal, teacher, and school board at their 6-year-old daughter's public school because she was being taught that there is no such thing as boys and girls. The mother said women's rights are being redefined away and replaced with the rights of people who identify as a stereotype. It's a terrible message to be sending to girls or anyone, she says. Are we going to face this destruction of women's rights and equality as well as gender confusion in our own schools? The answer to that is we already are. This notion that there really isn't such a thing as having boys and girls. Man, I wish somebody had told me that in high school. You know, we had to shower with only the guys. They never would let us go into the girls' locker room and shower with them. I think I speak for Keith and Trey and everybody else when I say that if someone had told me when I was 15 that we could just identify differently after gym class, boy, there'd have been some different folks going different ways after gym every day. All right, we get this from Michael. He says he's a conservative in California, which makes Michael a very lonely guy out there. God bless you, Michael. You must feel really, really alone. Anyway, last week, Democrats seemed to move to more inflammatory language in their impeachment campaign. Congressman Eric Swalwell accused President Trump of an extortion scheme. Congresswoman Jackie Speer accused him of bribery or treason. But here's the question for Michael. He says, do you think the language shift is to make their charges seem more dramatic? Honestly, I think it's an impeachment looking for a reason. It was Russia, then it was obstruction, then it was racism, and now it's Ukraine, and then it became treason and bribery. So we are always changing what it is that causes us to want to overthrow an election. But the fact is, ultimately, people need to make that decision at the ballot box, not a handful of people in Congress just because they don't like the way the last election turned out. This comes to us from State Patriot. He poses this question. Former U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions has announced his candidacy for the Republican nomination for the 2020 U.S. Senate election. Do you think he will win his primary and the election in Alabama? My answer is, I have no idea. It's a very crowded field, some wonderful people in that race, and the people of Alabama will get to make that choice. Jeff Sessions, who I like, he's a good guy, a very honorable man. Obviously, he and the president had their parting ways, but the people of Alabama will make that decision. I do believe that whoever the Republican nominee is will most likely win that seat based on just the issues that are going on and the nature of Alabama. Well, we would love to hear what you have to say. You can write to us at my2cents@tbn.tv. That's my2cents@tbn.tv. And from my Twitter page, where you can follow me at @GovMikeHuckabee, here's a surprising story with a happy ending. Earlier this week, I noted that Grammy-nominated singer Ellie Goulding threatened to cancel her planned performance at the Dallas NFL Thanksgiving game over criticism that the Salvation Army is anti-LGBTQ. Now, you see, that game is the kickoff for their annual Red Kettle Christmas campaign all over the country. However, on Thursday, National Commander of the Salvation Army, David Hudson, announced that Goulding will indeed perform at the game as planned. They said that we'd like to thank Ellie Goulding and her fans for shedding light on misconceptions and encouraging others to learn the truth about the Salvation Army's mission to serve all without discrimination. So the cancel culture attempted to bully Goulding and the Salvation Army from doing the most good. That would be hurting homeless people, people of every race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, or identity. But guess what? It backfired on the social justice warriors, and the hurting, hungry, and homeless in our nation are going to receive love and assistance during the holidays. Thanks to Mrs. Goulding for continuing her support of the Salvation Army, and we thank the Salvation Army for their efforts. And by the way, I hope all of you will give your support when you see those red kettles and hear the Christmas bells inviting your support. In closing, let me remind you a little quote from Thomas Jefferson that I hope you will take to heart. He warned Americans that the man who reads nothing at all is better educated than the man who reads nothing but newspapers. Until next time, these are the facts of the matter. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, then subscribe, and hit the notification bell below. Now, if you didn't like it, you ought to find a Ben Shapiro video to detox you with more facts.